Hello and welcome back, everybody. Now it's with great pleasure I introduce our second speaker, Donna Shaw. Donna is a teacher and materials writer for primary age children. She's deeply committed to teaching and educational issues. She's the co-author of a number of ELT primary courses for Macmillan education, including New High Five, Heroes, Footprints, and of course, the new primary course, Kids Can. Today, Donna is going to talk to us about how kids can have fun learning. Welcome, Donna.
Thank you, Louise. It's lovely to be here. And what a nice introduction.
Yeah, no, it's lovely to see you again. It's been a while.
It certainly has.
Okay, so fantastic. Thank you so much. And well, over to you. All yours.
Thank you. Okay, so hello everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's a real pleasure to be here. Now, as you know, this webinar is called Kids Can Have Fun Learning. So the first thing I'd like to do is to explain what I mean by fun. So here's a definition. We can see that fun is defined as providing entertainment, amusement, or enjoyment. But how relevant is this definition for our classrooms? For me, the word entertainment is problematic, as it suggests that the learner has a passive role in the classroom and in the learning process. And the word amusement is also problematic, as it suggests that activities are not important, not serious, and that little learning is actually taking place. Enjoyment, however, has a key role to play in the learning process, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today. So enjoyment is a positive emotion that's linked to a sense of well-being. When children enjoy what they're doing, learning becomes a natural and spontaneous activity. In this webinar, we're going to look at how we can make learning English an enjoyable experience. So, first, let's think about what primary children love about their English class. Now, in a study in Hungary, primary school children aged between 6 and 11 were asked the question, why do you like English? Now, we're going to look at some of the children's answers in a minute, but before we do that, I want to hear from you. I want you to think about the children you teach and imagine how they would complete the sentence. I like English because. So can you complete the sentence in the box, please?
Okay, so that will appear on your screen now, that question. Can you complete the sentence? I love English because, or I enjoy English because. The question on your screen is, what do children enjoy? But it's from the point of view of the children. Okay, so we'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. Let's see what answers come in. I like English because I can think of an answer. Well, I'm just thinking back to my own pupils when I was in teaching primary age children. I like English because we do a lot of stories, or we watch or listen to a lot of stories. I remember stories being very, very popular in the class. Let's see what other answers come in. I like English because I will travel. I will address total England. I will travel to England. Okay, so they have a purpose in mind. So I like English because it allows me to do something. Excellent. I enjoy English because we do lots of interactive games. I like English because I watch fun videos. I can watch and understand YouTube videos, because we do experiments and projects. Thank you, Martha.
Nice.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Lovely, nice ideas.
Okay, so let's have a look at some of the children's answers in the study. So these children, I like English because we just play, and I play in English and I learn a lot. So these children clearly enjoy play activities. No surprises there. In fact, more than 90% of the children in the study mentioned play as something they like to do in the classroom. Children also reported that they liked pretend play, so acting out stories or doing role plays. Okay, let's look at some more. I like English because I am good at it, and I like English because it is easy to get a reward. So we can see that a feeling of progress and success is important for children's enjoyment. Now, for me, the second sentence is interesting. It's easy to get a reward. This is an example of extrinsic motivation, where children are motivated to do an activity because there's a reward. For example, some points for their team or a sticker. Now, motivating children with rewards can be effective. We know that. However, research has continuously shown that intrinsic motivation, where children do an activity because they want to, because it's fun, or because it satisfies their curiosity, is far more effective for their learning. Okay, and just two more. I like English because the teacher is kind and the teacher is nice and kind. Now, in the study, almost 30% of children in lower primary and just over 25% in upper primary mention their teacher in the answer. Now, these comments show that the teacher's role is essential in creating a positive and supportive learning environment in the classroom. Children enjoy learning when they feel safe and appreciated for who they are. So, how can we bring fun into our classrooms? In this very, very short time that we have, we're going to look at four things: finding time to play, using puzzles in the classroom, nurturing children's creativity, and creating a positive and inclusive classroom environment. So, looking at finding time to play. Now, we know that children have a natural instinct for play. In fact, play is an important part of their development. Through play, children develop their linguistic, social and emotional, cognitive and communication skills. But we do need to support play in the classroom. One thing we can do is consider every ability. Playing games can be tricky in a classroom where pupils have different needs and different abilities. And with some games, only the higher ability pupils get to succeed. This can be really frustrating for other children, and it can result in these children withdrawing from the activity and refusing to play. Sometimes they can even sabotage it. Now, a way to cater for all abilities when you play a game is to provide the class with two options for how to respond. Now, this unit is about houses, and in lesson 1, the children play a mime game to practice the new vocabulary. The children play the game in pairs. One child mimes being in a place in the house, for example, ooh, and then asks, "Where am I?" The other child responds by either naming the place in the house or pointing to the place on the page. In the first option, the children produce language, and in the second option, the children show receptive understanding. Now, having two options in this game means that everyone can participate and enjoy the activity. Now, A second thing we can do, and I think is very important, and it's very easy to forget, is model how to play. Explaining how to play a game is not easy when you have a large class. Children can easily get distracted and not follow the instructions. It's very important to model how to play the game before the children start, so they know exactly what to do and what language to use. Now, in this barrier game, one child creates a picture by placing 4 classroom objects in the scene. Then the other child has to ask questions to create the same scene. Now, we can demonstrate the game with a confident child while the rest of the class watches. The teacher takes the role of one role and the child takes the other role. At the same time, I would suggest that the rest of the class have their hands on the table or on their lap, so they're not playing with the cards. And it's also a good idea to write the key language on the board. In the case of this activity, however, the teacher can use a video to show the pupils what to do. So let's watch the video.
Are you ready to play the game?
Yes, I am. Where's the pencil?
The pencil is under the desk.
Okay, now where's the sharpener?
The sharpener is in the bin.
Where's the rubber? I finished. Let's compare.
Look, they're the same. Now it's your turn.
So you can see the video also models language for play. Now it's your turn. Okay, so let's go on and look at another way we can support play in the classroom, and that is to introduce chunks of language. Now, the other type of play the children talked about in the study is pretend play, where children act out stories or do role plays. The problem with this type of activity is that the children are tempted to use their mother tongue. It's natural. Now, one way of supporting children is by teaching chunks of language, a whole phrase, a whole sentence, or even an exchange. Now, these chunks reduce the strain on the learner's memory, as they can retrieve a chunk of language faster than creating a whole new sentence with individual words. And this gives the learners confidence to speak in English and also increases their fluency. Now, in this activity, one child takes the role of a zoologist and the other is a journalist. And each child has a card. The zoologist has information about animals and the journalist has some information or some questions. But they use the functional chunks to start and finish the interview. The interview starts with a request. Excuse me, can I ask you some questions, please? Yes, of course. And it finishes with some thanks. Thank you. You're welcome. And during the interview, the children can also use chunks of language that they already know. For example, to express surprise. Oh, that's interesting. Really? That's incredible. Now, this extra language adds drama and excitement to the activity, so it becomes more than just a normal exchange of information. Now, we can start building up a repertoire of chunks of functional language from the very start of primary. And as the children learn more of these chunks, their role plays and interactions will become more elaborate over the years. Now, in the following activity, the children are introduced to the function of asking and talking about their feelings. And they do this through a song.
Everybody up! Clap your hands! Turn around! Let's sing and dance! Hey, hey, how are you today? Are you sad? Are you happy? How are you today?
I'm sad. I'm sad.
Hey, hey, how are you today? Are you excited? Are you worried? How are you today?
I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Guys, in advance, because you will be singing that all evening and possibly tomorrow. These songs are very catchy. Now, moving on. Let's see, that's the one. The second thing we can do to bring fun into the classroom is use puzzles. Now, these are a great source of enjoyment for children, but they also support children's linguistic and cognitive development. We can use word puzzles like crosswords and word searches to improve spelling, and riddles and logic problems can help extend vocabulary and improve children's logical thinking. Puzzles also nurture persistence, as children are motivated to keep going until they finish, and they give a great sense of satisfaction when the children achieve them, when the children finish. But let's look at some of the different ways we can use puzzles in the classroom. So we can use puzzles to encourage collaboration. In this puzzle, the children use the letters on the turtle's back to make animal words. First, they do the puzzle on their own and write their list of words. But then the children work in pairs to collaborate to make a combined list. Now, this is an excellent example or opportunity to use recycled language in a meaningful way. For example, I've got a horse. What about you? Ooh, I haven't got horse. Of course, we need to model this exchange and write examples of that language on the board. Now, another thing we can do is to use riddles for developing children's skills. Now, they're an excellent way of motivating children to read, to listen, and to create a short, authentic text. They're fun too. I love puzzles. Now, I'm not actually going to read a riddle. I'm going to read a poem, which comes from a project from Kids Camp 5. Can you listen and decide which animal the poem is about? Is it a snow leopard? Is it a great white shark? Is it an orangutan? Or is it a tiger? So listen and choose 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Okay, so we've got the poll on your screen.
Okay, so I'm going to read the poem.
You're going to read it. You're going to read the poem, and when the poem is finished, the audience, please take the correct answer: 1, 2, 3, or 4. Perfect.
Okay. So, thank you. Okay, so the poem is: I'm scarier than a dolphin. I'm fiercer than a whale. I've got claws, I've got whiskers, I've got a long tail. The jungle is my home, I eat meat for dinner. Please protect me, my species is in danger.
Ooh, which one is it?
It's not
So
so easy.
people, it's not so easy. So what animal is it? Is it a snow leopard? Is it a great white shark? Is it an orangutan? Or is it a tiger? Let's see, the answers are coming in fast and furious, and we've got 50% are saying tiger, 29% are saying snow leopard, followed by 14% for great white shark. And now, neck and neck, snow leopard and tiger. And shark, the great white shark has gone down
It's gone
3%.
down.
Oh, and it's gone down again, and it's at 0. And so we have, oh, it's changed again. The tiger is 60% and the snow leopard is 40%. Is
Yeah.
that 1? Is that 2? That is an answer. 60% tiger, 40% snow leopard. Well,
Okay,
Donna.
let's have a look. Let's see on the next slide. It's a tiger.
Very good.
Ta-da! So read it again. So I'm scarier than a dolphin. I'm fiercer than a whale, but I've got claws. I've got whiskers. I've got a long tail. But the jungle is my home, not the mountains. I eat meat for dinner. Please protect me. My species is in danger. Okay, well done to the 60% who got it right.
Yes, well done. Thank you.
Okay, so the third thing we can do, the way we can use puzzles in the classroom, is to get children to notice things. And noticing is an important part of the learning process. Puzzles are a fun way of getting children to notice aspects of language. This may be noticing spelling, double letters in the words, or a grammar pattern. And we can help younger learners notice the shape of letters. So in this puzzle, for example, the children colour the shapes that contain the letter S and not the letter C. And this will reveal the letter. Okay, so the third thing we can do to bring fun into the classroom is to nurture children's creativity. Now, research has shown that all children have the potential to be creative and that creative activities are enriching and emotionally rewarding for children. They also increase engagement in the classroom and help to accommodate children who have different learning abilities. Now, fantasy is an important part of children's lives, especially for lower primary children, and stories with a fantasy element help to stimulate their creativity and to develop their vocabulary. And puppets are a perfect way for drawing children into this fantasy world. So let me introduce you to Sam. So with his tail, now he's the puppet for Kids Can 1 and 2. He's a little bit mischievous and he's the magical friend of 3 children. Now Sam is usually a rucksack. But sometimes when children take things out of the rucksack, magic starts and the rucksack transforms into Sam. Now, Sam takes the children into a magical world where anything can happen. But not today, Sam. You're going to sit there and be good. Now, imagination doesn't just occur in stories. Children can also be encouraged to use their imagination after a story, in response to a story. For example, by asking at the end of a story, what do you think happens next? Or pointing to a character in the story frame and asking, what is he thinking? Now, the slide you can see, it comes from a story about jungle animals. And in the story, the animals play a game of hide and seek. As you can imagine, the chameleon wins. But after the story, the children are asked to imagine where they would hide in the jungle. Or where would they hide in the school playground? And activities that nurture children's imagination create a natural desire in children to share their ideas. And in this activity, children imagine that they are in the photo or in the frame of a story and think about what they can see, what they can hear, what they can smell, what they can touch or taste. And the children complete the table on their own and then share their ideas with a partner or the rest of the class. So, for example, on this beach, I can see sand, I can see the sea, I can see rubbish, I can hear the waves, the sea, I can hear the seagulls, I can smell the seaweed, I can touch the sand, the bag, and I can taste the salt in the air. Now, we can see that this activity generates lots of vocabulary and it promotes communication as children share their ideas. It also increases children's interest in the following activity or whatever activity is linked to that image. Okay, another thing we can do is nurture children's creative thinking. For example, divergent thinking, critical thinking, and problem solving. Now, in this activity, the children have to think of how two animals are similar. For example, in number 1, the sentence could be, whales and dolphins live in the sea. The children work in pairs to create a sentence for each pair of animals. But a point system encourages them to think outside the box and think of ways that animals are similar that's more original. Now, the teacher awards points. 1 point to each pair if their sentence is correct. 3 points if their sentence is correct and original. So that means no other pair in the class has the same sentence. And the teacher can award 5 points if the sentence is incredibly creative. Okay, so finally we can show children that creating something new is more than just having a good idea. It's a process where you employ different ways of thinking and different activities. Now, in this project, the children make a mini book about the daily routines of an alien. Now, the process is clearly set out so the children know what to do at each stage. So first, the children brainstorm their ideas for the book. Then, with the support of a cutout, they make their book. They then draw and write the information. When they finish, they practice reading the book to a partner. Now, this stage is really important because it helps the pupil, helps the child to develop confidence, become more confident, and be more fluent in their delivery. And the pupil who is listening can give feedback and make suggestions too. Afterwards, the children share their book with the rest of the class. Now, this might be reading the book aloud, or you can make a display of the different books on the board, or on the wall, sorry. Okay. So we're going on to the 4th thing that we can do to bring more fun into the classroom. And that's create a positive and inclusive environment. Now, one way we can do this is by supporting every ability in the class. And in this webinar, we've seen several ways of doing this. We've seen how all pupils can participate in the game when there are different ways of responding, either by producing language or showing receptive understanding. We've also looked at how we can scaffold learning by modelling activities and by introducing chunks of language which children can use again and again. Now, cooperation within the classroom is also very important. A collaborative and cooperative environment helps children to feel safe, valued, and a part of the group. Now, in this webinar, we have looked at different ways of encouraging cooperation. We've seen children work together to play games, to do role plays, to do puzzles, and help and support each other in their projects. Now, finally, we need to support the development of children's social and emotional learning, SEL. Now, this is a process that helps learners to develop their self-control, their self-awareness, and their interpersonal skills. Now, stories are a natural way of exploring social and emotional learning. They provide rich opportunities for discussion, and pupils can be encouraged to reflect on the character's behaviour before being gently guided into thinking about their own. Now, in Kids Can Level 1 and 2, we have Sam as the guide for social and emotional learning. And in the stories, the children and Sam learn and grow together. Okay, to finish, I'd like to share a quote from a poet, Alfred Mercier. And what we learn with pleasure, we never forget. I hope you found this webinar useful, and thank you very much for listening and joining in. And oh yes, if you have any questions.
Yes.
Okay,
If you
please
have
send
any
them in.
questions, please do. Donna, thank you so much. I love that last quote
Isn't
that
it
you've shown
lovely?
us. It is lovely, and I love the idea that you said, and it really struck a chord with me, was the idea that creativity is not just about coming up with new ideas or new things. It's the process, and it's about developing it from the very early years up through primary and beyond into secondary and bachillerato, and it goes on. And
into our lives, adult lives.
Into our lives, exactly. That was really, 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 really important point, I think, to make. So we have a couple of minutes now to answer questions, or if you have some comments, please do put them in the box, the chat box that will appear on your screen now. We'll just give you a couple of seconds for that. And I also loved, while we're waiting, I also love the idea of the creativity corners as well, because Mark talked about the curiosity corners.
Yes.
And you talked about the creativity corners. That children are asked questions to encourage their imagination. You know, a question, so a personalized response to whatever question has been dealt with in that particular unit, for example, or that particular class, and that is so important. It's sometimes, you know, we're quite busy in our classes and we sometimes forget to make that connection, and I think that's absolutely key.
Yes.
We'll just see. Thank you so much, Donna. Praise is coming in, Donna. Thank yous. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
This has been, it was very useful from Nuria. Thank you, Nuria. Sometimes we need to refresh some of the things we know to improve our lessons. And with you, Donna, I had this feeling today. Thank you. Thank you again from another person, Sandra. Thank you for all your useful tips. So it seems that there are no questions, but all very positive comments. So Donna, once again, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure to be with you today and with Mark. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for sharing your experiences and also this wonderful course with us.
Thank you. And I hope we'll be able to do this in person in some time soon.
I think yes, I hope so too. So everybody, I'm just going to hand over to my colleague Isiar Arieta now. She's going to give a short presentation on Kids Can. She's going to explain a bit more detail about Kids Can. Isiar, bienvenida. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, de aquí, desde Bilbao. Encantada de estar esta tarde aquí.
Ay, muy bien. Pues Isiar nos explicará. So Isiar is going to explain to us a little bit in more detail about Kids Can. Bueno, todo tuyo, Isiar.
Vale, gracias. Vale, pues buenas tardes a todos y a todas. En primer lugar, decir que estoy encantada de estar esta tarde aquí para presentaros este fantástico método que es Kids Can. Kids Can es el nuevo método de primaria de Macmillan. Este año tendremos disponibles los niveles 1, 2 y 3 y en el año que viene, en el 2022, sacaremos los niveles 4, 5 y 6. La metodología de Kids Can está basada en storytelling y todas las unidades comienzan con una pregunta que culmina, que acaba en un proyecto final. Como han dicho nuestros ponentes, fomenta la curiosidad y la creatividad y desarrolla las competencias comunicativas, las destrezas colaborativas y el desarrollo socioemocional de los niños. Como ha dicho nuestro ponente Mark, la curiosidad es la chispa que motiva a los niños y como ha dicho también Donna, la motivación también hoy en día es algo fundamental. Entonces, en Kids Can estos dos aspectos van a estar presentes en todos los niveles. Mark decía que el aprendizaje empieza atrayendo a los niños, atrayendo esa curiosidad, podemos conseguir el aprendizaje. Vamos a verlo. Vamos a ver en primer lugar las características principales de Kids Can. En primer lugar tenemos la curiosidad, de curiosity, tal como ha dicho Mark. El método despierta la curiosidad de los niños y a través de esa curiosidad vamos a extraer ese aprendizaje, vamos a aprovechar esa curiosidad para crear unas condiciones óptimas del aprendizaje. Otro punto importante es la creatividad. El libro fomenta la creatividad de los niños. En Kids Can los niños pueden desarrollar su imaginación y lo van a hacer con distintas actividades. Pueden ser actividades de arte, de danza, de poesía, de pensamiento crítico. El siguiente punto importante es la comunicación. Lo que queremos es proporcionarles a los niños herramientas de comunicación para que se sientan con confianza para comunicarse en situaciones reales del día a día, que les sean cercanas y les sean situaciones cotidianas en las que se sientan cómodos. La colaboración también va a ser un aspecto importante de Kids Can, el trabajo cooperativo. Queremos que los niños trabajen juntos y para ello vamos a utilizar los proyectos del final de la unidad y los cuentos también, las historias, van a ser una buena ocasión para que los niños desarrollen las habilidades socioemocionales, como vamos a ver enseguida, porque todos los cuentos, todas las historias van a transmitir un valor. El último aspecto importante a destacar y un punto muy importante, en mi opinión, de Kids Can es el tratamiento de la diversidad. El tratamiento de la diversidad va a estar presente continuamente a lo largo de todas las lecciones. Los profesores vais a tener recursos para atender esa diversidad del aula. Sabemos que en inglés la diversidad es muy grande. Los niveles que tenéis en las clases, es muy difícil tener una clase en un nivel homogéneo. Entonces, en Kids Can vais a tener actividades, por ejemplo, con diferentes instrucciones para atender esos distintos niveles. Vais a tener worksheets a 3 niveles, fichas a 3 niveles de dificultad. Y también lo que queremos es, y lo va a hacer también de una manera sistemática y muy explícita, queremos ayudar al profesor a crear una clase, un clima inclusivo en la clase, dotando y fomentando los talentos de cada niño, que todos los niños se sientan respetados y cómodos dentro del aula. Vale, estas son un poquito las características principales y ahora vamos a pasar, si os parece, a ver el recorrido de una unidad. Esta concretamente es la unidad 2 del nivel 3 y yo quería destacar lo primero, algo que ha mencionado también Mark, y es de verdad las ilustraciones, el trabajo que se ha hecho en este método. Yo en todos los sitios que lo he presentado, todo el mundo me ha destacado lo atractivo que es y no tenéis que ver más que esta doble página y que comienza, como hemos dicho, con una pregunta. La pregunta tiene la función, en primer lugar, de picar esa curiosidad que nos decía Marc, ¿verdad? De picar a los niños la curiosidad. ¿Qué vamos a aprender aquí? Que intentar extraer un poco esa curiosidad de ellos, pero también lo que queremos con esta pregunta es que el aprendizaje sea un aprendizaje significativo, que todo cobre un sentido y eso se va a traducir al final con el proyecto final. Cuando acabemos la unidad, como he dicho, todos vamos a ser capaces de contestar esta pregunta y lo vamos a plasmar en el proyecto final. En este caso, en nivel 3, comienza con un vídeo donde se presenta el tema y los niños, como os ha dicho también Marc, se presentan a un quiz. Tienen que presentarse a un quiz donde ellos a lo largo de la unidad van a ir investigando y preparando todas las respuestas que van a necesitar para contestar al final en el quiz. Con lo cual, el elemento motivador también está presente continuamente. Vamos a pasar aquí. Aquí tenemos la siguiente lesson, es la story. Todas las historias son historias animadas y todos los vídeos están subtitulados. De nuevo, como os decía, para el tratamiento de la diversidad. Puede haber alumnos que no pueden entender la visualización del vídeo sin ayuda y necesitan que sean subtitulados. Los vídeos, la verdad, los ponentes han mostrado algunos de ellos, como veis, son de una alta calidad y hemos apostado no solo por la calidad, sino por la cantidad. Cuando decía Donna también la importancia de la motivación, sabemos y nos consta que los vídeos son un recurso muy motivador para los niños, tienen mucho impacto visual. Entonces vais a disponer primero y segundo, el nivel primero y segundo, de 7 vídeos por unidad y a partir de tercero de 5 vídeos por unidad. Entonces yo creo que vais a tener cantidad y calidad, como digo. Vale, cada historia transmite un valor al final del cuento, con lo cual queremos también que desarrollen las habilidades socioemocionales, que se sientan emocionalmente también implicados. La siguiente lesson es la lección cross-curricular, que en este caso, como el topic son los animales, la pregunta, recuerdo que era What's amazing about animals, pues lógicamente la lección cross-curricular gira en torno a Natural Science. En este caso, les explicamos la diferencia entre los mammals and reptiles y también va apoyado por otro vídeo. Como os he dicho, serían 5 por unidad. En este caso, como es información de Natural Science, el vídeo no es un vídeo de ficción, es un vídeo de información real. Siguiente lesson es la lección de Culture. En las lecciones de cultura están íntimamente ligadas con el tema y en este caso son siempre lecciones de cultura británica y en este caso el vídeo y la información que transmite es la de este niño, es un niño británico que tiene un erizo en su casa y entonces nos cuenta esta información de cómo vive ese erizo, cómo duerme, lo que come. Entonces, esa información real nos va a venir luego bien para compararla y personalizarla con nosotros, personalizar ese aprendizaje en nuestro caso. Y finalmente tendríamos el repaso, el review, y aquí tenemos el quiz que nos decía Dave. Marc, perdón, la unidad culmina con este quiz, esta especie de concurso donde los niños han investigado a lo largo de la unidad, han aprendido un montón de cosas y todo lo que les van a preguntar al final sobre los animales y aquí tienen la ocasión de responderlo. Esto sería, a grandes rasgos, una unidad y después del quiz tenemos el producto final, que sería el proyecto con la pregunta que tenemos que responder. En este caso, la pregunta era What's amazing about animals? Y entonces los niños tienen que hacer un Amazing Animals. Hacemos la manualidad, el proyecto. Aquí estaría presente de nuevo la creatividad. Les damos la opción a los niños de que desarrollen su creatividad para hacer el mejor Amazing Animals y finalmente pues lo tendrían que presentar en clase. Vale, esto sería el recorrido de una unidad. Ahora os voy a contar un poquito los componentes de que vais a disponer. En este caso serían los componentes del profesor. En primer lugar, el material digital. El material digital de que van a disponer los profesores, que vais a disponer, sería el Classroom Presentation Kit, que como sabéis es el libro digital para proyectarlo en la clase. Luego tendríais un Test Generator, que es una aplicación para generar exámenes a la carta. Pasaríamos al Teacher Resource Center, que como su nombre indica, es el banco de recursos del profesor, todos los recursos extras, todos los materiales adicionales, worksheet, etcétera. Seguidamente vamos a ver lo que tendrían los niños. Como ha dicho Donna, la motivación y disfrutar, jugar, disfrutar del idioma, del gusto por el idioma, es uno de los objetivos de Kids Camp. Y en este caso los niños, cuando compren el libro, van a tener una aplicación que se llama Nevio, donde van a tener un juego en 3D. En ese juego van a tener actividades interactivas para practicar todo el lenguaje de la unidad, ese lenguaje de la unidad. El material, este lenguaje se puede trabajar en casa, se puede practicar en casa o se puede practicar en clase. Si queréis hacerlo en clase, podéis hacer un seguimiento de la práctica de los niños, pero si no, también lo pueden hacer en casa. La idea es que jugando ellos vayan reforzando todo lo aprendido en clase en las unidades. Con Kitsan también deciros que vamos a estar preparados para cualquier escenario, dadas las circunstancias actuales, un escenario presencial, un escenario semipresencial, un escenario virtual. Vais a estar en ese sentido cubiertos con el método. Ahora os vamos a decir cómo lo vais a hacer. Para cualquier incidencia digital, para cualquier problema digital que podáis tener en el centro, contamos con nuestro equipo de informáticos y técnicos que os ayudarán encantados. Y ahora vamos a ver un poco el material que dispondrán del material que dispondrán los niños. Vale, los niños cuando compren su libro tendrán, como tenemos siempre, su Pupils Book, su Activity Book. El Activity Book tendremos dos Activity Book, el Activity Book normal o el Essential Activity Book. El Essential Activity Book es el mismo temario, pero, y de nuevo, para atender esa diversidad que tenéis en el aula, es una activity con un itinerario más tranquilo. Las actividades son las mismas, pero están más controladas, van más pautadas. Entonces es un material que nosotros proporcionamos a los profesores y luego el profesor pondría a los alumnos el que él considere, el que ella considere. El Pupils es el material del alumno, como sabéis, y aquí, por eso os decía lo de que estamos preparados para cualquier escenario. Comprando el Pupils tendrán consigo la correspondiente licencia digital y comprando el Activity llevará su correspondiente licencia digital. Es decir, los niños dispondrán de su Pupils en papel con su licencia digital, de su Activity en papel con su licencia digital y de su juego en 3D de Nevio. Y por último, tienen un elemento muy novedoso este año, muy atractivo, que la verdad que está gustando mucho también, el llamado Extra Fan. ¿Y qué es el Extra Fan? Pues el Extra Fan es una especie, como veis, de magazine, de revista, con juegos, puzzles, crucigramas, actividades lúdicas para practicar, reforzar el lenguaje aprendido en el aula, pero de forma lúdica. Este material, en primero y segundo, aparece en el Pupils Book y a partir de tercero aparecerá en el Activity. La idea se puede trabajar pues, en clase para los fast finishers, se puede trabajar pues, en casa, se puede mandar para casa como deberes, pero un poco jugando, que refuercen, repasen todo lo aprendido, se puede hacer en clase entre todos. El profesor, los profesores, aparte de disponer de vuestra plataforma digital donde contiene todo el método, donde tenéis todo el método, también tenemos los elementos físicos que nos parecen muy importantes, sobre todo pues, para las edades más tempranas, para los más pequeñitos, los de primero y segundo, como os ha enseñado Donna, pues tenemos la puppet, Rasak, y luego tenemos todos los elementos físicos, las flashcards, las word cards, las story cards. Todas las tenéis también en formato físico, así como el Teacher Book con todas las actividades, las worksheets de ampliación, todas las actividades de refuerzo, el Teacher Book, también dispondréis de él en papel. Esto sería un poco resumiendo los elementos del que va a disponer los profesores. Uno, el de la arriba a la derecha, Advantage, el Macmillan Advantage. Supongo que esta tarde habrá usuarios de Macmillan en esta charla. Entonces ellos ya conocerán qué es Advantage, pero si para los profesores que no trabajan con Macmillan, os voy a explicar brevemente qué es Advantage. Advantage es un portal de recursos, un repositorio de recursos, es cerrado, lógicamente, que es el usuario de Macmillan, y es un portal donde tenemos infinidad de recursos. Tenemos, por un lado, todos los recursos del método propiamente dicho, en este caso todos los recursos de KidsCamp. En este caso es como un plan B, es otro camino para tener todos los elementos de KidsCamp. Tenemos toda la documentación que necesitáis, pues léase programaciones, todo lo concerniente a la legislación. Tenéis un Resource Hub y aquí tenéis cosas muy interesantes, actividades, por ejemplo, pues para fechas señaladas del año, que siempre, no sé, por ejemplo, Navidad, que siempre nos pedís, pues, a ver si tenemos alguna canción, algún villancico, alguna ficha. Pues en este Resource Hub tenéis material extra y actividades de todo tipo, de topics, de niveles. Y por último, tenéis también el Teacher Training Webinars, que son todas las charlas que damos en Macmillan, todas las formaciones, todos los eventos que por el tiempo no habéis podido asistir en directo, los tenemos grabados y podéis acceder a través de Macmillan Advantage a estos webinars. Y por mi parte, nada más. Si tenéis cualquier duda, cualquier pregunta, yo aquí estoy encantada de contestaros.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias, Iciar. So, thank you very much, everybody. I wish you all the very best with the rest of the course. There's not much time to go before the summer holidays. I do hope that it's the best possible finish to the course this year, despite the circumstances. And I do hope to see you again soon, hopefully next year, not too very far in the future. Please watch this space. We'll organize more events further down the line. We'd love to see you again. And thank you for spending this time with us. And I hope you have enjoyed learning about Kids Can with us. Thank you very much. Good evening. Bye.